Hi, good day everyone. This is Thomas Heimann, founder and CEO of Realty Partners. And today I want to talk about developing a powerful USP or a unique selling preposition, or in other words, how to stand out from the crowd. I don't know what market you're in. We're in the Sarasota Manatee marketplace. There are over 6,000 realtor agents in this marketplace. And you really have to differentiate yourself as a real estate agent to stand out from the crowd. And virtually every successful real estate agent has some form of unique selling preposition that they build their business around and that they use in their branding. At the end of this short training, I'm going to share with you some of my own marketing that I've done in the past and give you some thoughts on branding, because many times people think, well, I need to be with some big company, Coldwell Banker or Remax. That name recognition is going to help me. Well, I had a very, very successful team, and you will see that my branding was me and my USP, and it really doesn't matter, what company you're with. So let's get started. Let's take a look at this, how to develop a powerful, unique selling preposition. First of all, let's talk about the need for a unique selling preposition. Why it is so important that you develop that for yourself. Number one, you, by definition, as a real estate agent, are in a competitive selling situation. If you're doing 2-3 transactions a year, you might be able to get by just working with your hot circle of influence, your direct family or best friends, and kind of guilt them into working with you because you now have a real estate license. But if you want to build a business, then you inevitably are going to come up against your competition. Whether it is working with buyers and knowing and recognizing that these strangers, these buyers that you're hoping to work with, are also talking to and looking at other real estate agents, or whether it is competing for a listing. And if you're going on a listing appointment and this is not someone that is in your immediate sphere of influence, you can be assured that that seller is also talking to other realtors, that they're interviewing agents. So you have a competitive selling situation and you have to set yourself apart. Why should they use you versus the competition? And that really is an important question to ask yourself and answer yourself. If you were a consumer, if you were a customer, why would someone choose to work with you versus anyone else out there? I mean, what makes you different versus the 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 other agents in your market? Why should they work with you? And you better have some good answers, answers to those questions, because if you don't, then your competition, who does have an answer to the question, is going to win out. And your USP is a tool that you can use to set yourself apart right from the get-go in your branding, in your initial presentation. So again, are you just another realtor? I looked at the stats just out of curiosity a few weeks ago, and in our market, where there are just over 6,000 realtor agents, there are more licensed real estate agents that are not members of the board, but there are over 6,000 that are member of our board. 80% of them are doing less than $1 million a year in business. Okay. If you go down to the bottom 50% are doing less than $500,000 a year in business. So are you just another realtor, one of those guys that does 1, 2, 3 deals a year that are family members or what have you not? Or are you a professional that can make the case why somebody should work with you? Consumers, anyone really is continuously evaluating. And there's a law of contrast. The way you evaluate things is by contrasting and comparing. So it's always going to be, how does this compare to that? What's the value of this thing versus another thing? So you need to be able to create some contrast, some differentiator that sets you apart from everyone else in the marketplace, and your USP is the tool to accomplish that. Now, looking at the consumer, one of the most important lessons that I learned when I first got into real estate, now about 14 years ago, was from a gentleman by the name of Craig Proctor. And he introduced me to this radio station, WIIFM, which is an acronym for What's in It for Me. And he said, what's in it for me is the only question that your advertising needs to answer for the consumer. Okay? What's in it for me is the question that the consumer is asking. What's in it for me? WIIFM is the radio station that they are tuned in all the time. And so, again, your unique selling preposition has to answer that question. Now, when you look at what consumers want, and it really doesn't make any difference whether they're in a lower price range area or the ultra high end price range area. These are the things that consumers are most concerned about. Number one, time. They want to save time. They want to have convenience. They do not have that want to have their time wasted. Number two, money. They either want to save money or make money. So if they're buying a property or selling a property, they want to save money. Or if they are in a investment property type of thing, they want to make money, or they want to get a killer deal on a property. So money is very, very important to them. And then number three, and probably most important, is certainty. So you as the agent have to give the consumer certainty that you can deliver on what's most important to the consumer. So whatever is most important to the consumer, you have to give them certainty that you are the person that is going to deliver that for them. And when you first start working with a customer in that relationship building process, the rapport building process, this answer here needs to be, this question here needs to be answered. What's in it for me? What is the most important thing to the consumer, so you can drive, towards that. Now, there are a number of different kinds of unique selling prepositions. The first one would be a niche market USP. So where you might focus on a specific market area. Let's say the beaches, KC Key, golf course, country club properties, horse properties, investment properties, apartment complexes, assisted living facilities, vacation rental condominiums. So you can build a USP that is built around the niche market, where you can set yourself apart with respect to that niche market. The second kind of USP is a unique services USP, where you provide a unique service that no one else does. For example, I ran across a real estate agent. He is he has a pilot. He has a plane, his own plane. And so what he brings to the table is that he actually will pick up his customers in his plane and bring them into town on this plane, and also show them around on this plane. So he's providing a very unique service there. We live in an area that has a lot of boating communities, so there are real estate agents that have their own boats, they're captains, and they provide unique services in that regard. So you can build a USP based on unique services that you provide. Maybe you also provide absentee owner, property management, or concierge services that may be of interest. Let's say somebody is coming down here into our market, Sarasota, Longwood Key, and is buying a third or fourth home that they're going to use 1 or 2 months out of the year. And you would have a service that will actually manage their property and look after it, etc., while they're gone. That could be a very valuable service, and to that particular market segment, you could really set yourself apart with that. The third type of USPs are service or performance guarantees. And this is a unique selling proposition that is very easy to implement. And when you're first starting out, for example, if you have confidence in your abilities and you really know the marketplace, then you can offer these service and performance guarantees. And basically what you do is you take on a certain amount of risk by guaranteeing that you're going to perform in a certain way. And if not, then something else will kick in. I'll go over that with you in some more details in a minute. But service or performance guarantees are extremely powerful. And then another one is comparison marketing and USPs built around statistics. And I'll go over some of them with you as well, where you set yourself apart from the competition based on hard numbers. So let's take a look at some examples of unique selling prepositions. And I'm going to start with the statistic-based ones. Statistic-based USPs would be something along the way of we sell X times more, whatever it is, than any other, so let's say we sell, 2 times as many beachfront condos as any other agent in the market. Or we sell, 10 times as many Gulfront condos than our competition. And you would compare that based on your MLS average or based on other agents in the marketplace. I sell X times faster than our competition. So that's, for example, and you can do that even if you only had one single listing in your entire career. You're a brand new agent, but let's say that on your MLS, the average time on market is, for argument's sake, 60 days. And you sold your home in 45 days. That's 25% faster than your competition. So you can truthfully say, while that's still the case, that I sell my listings X times faster, 25 times faster than the MLS average. And that is a unique selling preposition that you can use. The only danger in using that type of statistic when you only had one transaction is that you need to continuously recalibrate it, because with your next transaction, that number might move. But as long as you're still faster than the average, you can always say, I sell my listings faster than the competition, and then put a little asterisk behind it as a disclaimer. And then when you meet with them or they ask for more information, then you can clarify, this is the average on our MLS in our market X days, and my average is this. We sell our homes for X dollars or X percent more than our competition. Again, this is a statistic that you can dig up by looking at your average on your board. Let's say the average on the board is 92% of asking price. And your average with your listing or listings is 96% of asking price. So you can state that, we sell our homes for 4% more than our competition, whatever the difference is. So you can, use that to craft a message that sets you apart. And these numbers can be very, very powerful. I mean, you're charging 7% commission instead of 6% or 5% the next guy charges, but you know what? You're getting 4% or 5% more than the competition. So in the seller's mind, it's very, very powerful. And you can make that very easily work for you. And the great thing is that the average agent and the average performance is fairly poor. So the average on the MLS in terms of list to sell price or in terms of days on the market is pretty dismal. And so it's very easy to set yourself apart, and you really have to be bad to be worse than the average. You can also say we save our clients $X by selling in the first X days. Time is money. And instead of listing high and having to drop the price and losing all this time, which also means money, but having to make additional mortgage payments and paying for taxes and insurance and all that stuff, you can say we save our clients on average $X or X percent by selling in the first 30 days or whatever it is that works for you. The bottom line with statistical USPs is that you want to find a stat that works for you. And since you can work numbers so many different ways, there is a statistic that you can find that works for you, that you can build a powerful USP around. The next type of USPs is based on performance. And when I was working as an agent, I used performance-based USPs with great success. And because they're very, very specific. So you can say, I will sell your home in under X days, or. So what could that or be? Or I'll pay you $1,000 cash, or I'll buy it myself, which is what I used to do. I used to say, I will sell your home in X days guaranteed, or I'll buy it myself. Or you can say, I will sell your home in X days, or I'll sell it for free. So you could waive your commission. If I haven't sold it in 90 days, then I'll sell it for free. So you can build a very strong performance guarantee. And of course, let's say if the average day on market is 45 days, and you say, you know what, I'm going to sell your home in 59 days guaranteed, or I'll sell it for free. It's a low risk value proposition, especially you're not going to take a listing that is overpriced. But then, even worst case scenario, let's say, for example, the listing now, you hit the 59 days, you haven't sold it yet. You would lose the listing. In a normal situation, probably the listing would expire. And here the good news is you get to keep the listing. You can still market it. You can still leverage it to generate buyer inquiries, and you can also still have your sign in the lawn. So I would use that very, very aggressively. I would look at what is the average days in the market, and I would try to beat it and be aggressive. And especially when you're starting out and you want to get some listings, you can build a very powerful value USP around that. You can say, I will get you the lowest rate financing guaranteed, or, So I used to play around with that on the buyer side, where I had a guarantees lowest rate financing guarantee, or I would pay them $1,000 cash towards their closing costs. Or you could say, I'm going to get you the lowest rate financing guaranteed, or I'll pay all of your closing costs. So you go with my lender, and you can also shop it around. But if you get a lower rate that I can't meet or beat, then I'm going to pay all of your closing costs. And of course, you also want to have something in place, something with a lender that says, hey, listen, I'm going to use you as my preferred lender, providing awesome service. You're going to guarantee that you're going to get me the lowest rates. And you know what? If I have a buyer and you don't match their rate, you don't get the lowest rate, then I want you to pay up. And so I've always had lending-related performance guarantees, in essence, underwritten by the lender. I don't think I've ever had one triggered where somebody had to cough up money, but if it had happened, then it would have been for the lender, the mortgage broker, to cough up the money. Also, you can say, I will save you, and this is what I used to use, I will save you $10,000 guaranteed on a new home, or I'll pay you $2,500 cash. And so it really comes up to you now. Are you able to negotiate a $10,000 savings? And this could be a drop from the asking price. This could be seller concessions, etc. And then obviously, you're going to have a little asterisk on there, and there are going to be some conditions. So for example, for me to save you $10,000 / $2,500, that had to be $350,000 or higher. If it was below that, then it would be $5,000 or $1,000, and that was with a minimum of up to $150,000. Below $150,000, I wouldn't do anything. So even worst case scenario, they bought a $150,000 home. I made $4,500 commissions, and I really wasn't able to save them $5,000 in one way or another. Then I had to cough up $1,000. But in my entire, I did hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of transactions. I never ever once had to actually come up with the money, because I was always able to perform at that level. So let's talk about framing your unique selling proposition. How can you differentiate yourself? And this is something I came across, which was quite easy and powerful. And it's 2 questions and 2 solutions type of thing. The first one is, ask yourself a question: who is the best at X? Who is the best in your market? Who is your competition? Who is the person that is number 1 in X that you want to focus on? And then ask yourself, how can I be better? Okay. And and just really brainstorm that and then build your USP around that. Who is the best one? How can I be better? When I first got into real estate and I was looking around in framing my USP after my first training with Craig Proctor and after the "What's in it for me" question, I looked around and there was really no one in our marketplace that had a powerful USP except for one guy, guy by the name of Peter Vandernoort, and he had something along the lines of "Your home sold in 60 days, or I'll sell it for free." And I knew that I had to really up my game, and so I came up with a selling proposition that said, "Your home sold in X days guaranteed, or I'll buy it myself." And so again, you want to look at who is the best in your area, who has achieved what you want to achieve, and how can you and what is their niche, what is their thing that they're really, really good at, and how can you improve upon that and make that better. And then a couple of strategies. Number one, you want to focus on results and build guarantees around that. So what are the results that the best is creating, and how can you build a guarantee around that? And then number two, you always want to bring some emotion in there and connect with your why. Why do you get out of bed early in the morning and get excited and work so hard without any kind of guarantees for success? And somehow get an emotional connection so you can show the buyer or the seller that you're not just doing it to deliver a certain result, but you're also doing it because you truly care about making a difference and helping them make a move in their life, relocating to this wonderful area or whatever it might be, connected with a emotional component. So let me show you a couple of USPs that I did for myself. And, I had a conversation with an agent not too long ago, and she was thinking that, I was doing well back then when I started because of the company I was with. And that's just not the case. Basically, when I first got into real estate, I joined what I thought was the best company in our market, an exceptional company focused on the high-end marketplace. But that company was very restrictive in what could be done, and what I wanted to do, which was market myself and build a team and have a unique value proposition that was not compatible with their rules. And so I went and left and ended up joining RE/MAX, because RE/MAX gave me the freedom to pretty much do what I wanted to do. They were very, very supportive, and that's what you want. You want a broker that will support you in doing your business the way you want to do, which is what we do at Realty Partners. So I ended up joining this company, and here's a refrigerator magnet, for example, that I send out. And this is when I first started out. My value proposition was, your home sold in under 120 days, guaranteed, or I'll buy it. There's a little asterisk here, some restrictions apply. And, I had a pre-approval from the bank, so I could perform on it. And you want to make sure that any kind of USP you run by your broker and make sure it's approved by the broker. And the broker obviously will want to know that you're able to deliver if you say that you're going to buy someone's property. But, it was totally branded around me. Thomas Heimann Home Selling System, Marketing Home for All It's Worth, Thomas Heimann Team, Thomas L. Heimann LLC, and then here RE/MAX Properties, really small. So there was no branding of my company. It was just all about me. And that's how I started out. And then as I continued to build my team and the market became competitive and there were some other people coming up with the same 120-day guarantee, I actually stepped up my game, and I went to your home sold in under 59 days, guaranteed, or I'll buy it myself. And this was a full-page Homes and Land ad. I would run many full-page, magazines. That was, in the day, what you did. And on the buyer side here, buy absolutely risk-free with our buyback guarantee. So that was my risk reversal USP that I used at the buyer side. So I had a buyback guarantee that basically said, if you buy a home through me and you decide in the first year, for any reason other than a corporate relocation, to move, that you didn't like the neighbor or whatever it might be, then I will go ahead and either buy back the home from you for the price you paid, minus commissions, etc., or I will sell it for you free of charge. And there was an up market at the time, and so they probably would have been better off having me just list it and sell it for free. But I had never ever had anyone have me perform on it. But that was my performance guarantee that I had, buy absolutely risk-free with our buyback guarantee. And on the seller side, of course, your home sold in under 59 days. And again, look at the branding here, Thomas Heimann Realtor. Got a few properties up here, and then down here, all the different phone numbers, the Thomas Heimann home selling team. So you can see my team had grown at that point. And real small down here, Remax Properties. Okay, so obviously you also have your disclaimers on your performance guarantees. Here's some restrictions apply, please call. Some restriction apply. It's very, very important. If you make an offer, you want to put a little asterisk there, and then have your performance guarantee drafted in a way that there's limited risk to you. But that's what I did myself, and it worked very, very well with me. I started out with the listing side USP, which was your home sold in under 120 days, guaranteed, I'll buy it myself. And then later I actually stepped it up and made it much more aggressive. Your home sold in under 59 days, guaranteed, or I will buy it myself. And then on the buyer side, I had a number of different USPs, but the big one was, buy absolutely risk-free with our buyback guarantee. And no one else was doing that. I mean, I don't know who's doing it now, but I pioneered that. I invented that buyback guarantee program. And again, I ran it by my broker, and I showed that I was able to do what I needed to do, and they had no problem with it. I did it with their permission, of course. And that's what I did. So you need to think about developing a powerful USP. You have to come up with something to make yourself stand out from the crowd. Otherwise, you're just going to be another realtor. And if you cannot answer the question, why should I do business with you versus anyone else, then you're missing the boat. So you need to work on that, and that should really be the first thing you do before you do anything else in marketing. My name is Thomas Heimann, founder and CEO of Realty Partners. You can email me at thomas@realtypartners.com. Follow me on Twitter at Thomas Heimann. We also have a Facebook page, Facebook/Realty Partners LLC. And I'm doing a lot of these training videos, and I would love your feedback. We have a YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Realty Partners LLC. Post your comments. If you have any questions, if you would like to see training on some subject that I'm not covering, please send me a message, and I'll be happy to help. I really, really want to see agents succeed. My passion really is helping you guys be more successful and help you truly own your life and achieve long-term financial freedom through your real estate business. Again, I'm Thomas Heimann, founder and CEO of Realty Partners. Thank you so much for tuning in.